Welcome everybody to the channel. We are doing our WrestleMania 42 predictions in this video. This is a long haul one. This is the first time that we're going to be doing a video of this style here on the channel. We are going to be talking about the upcoming matches for WrestleMania over Saturday and Sunday, time stamped down below. If you enjoyed this sort of content, make sure you are liking and subscribing down below. But without further ado, let's get into the main cards. The first match on opening the first night of WrestleMania, it's going to be the six-man tag. It's going to be the Usos and LA Knight versus The Vision. That's Logan Paul and Austin Theory, and Twitch streamer iShowSpeed. This is an interesting one because the WWE's crossover appeal has been moving very, very dramatically in the build up to WrestleMania, to helping influx in ticket sales in order for it to be able to try and be the most profitable WrestleMania of all time. There is a reason that they've gone back to Vegas after doing it last year, and with the Vision now holding the tag team championships after beating the Usos a couple of weeks ago in Madison Square Garden for the titles, and LA Knight not having really anything to do on the card. They had that interaction with him and iShowSpeed that cost the Usos the titles. Speed has had some interactions in WWE in the past. He was a Prime Bottle a couple of years ago during a Logan Paul match where he got RKO'd by Randy Orton at WrestleMania 40 on the announce table. He has done a very short documentary on his YouTube channel, I believe, where he has gone and done some training at the WWE Performance Center and has met with Randy Orton, Matt Bloom, who else were there that were sort of out there training him. They made a big deal about him wiping his feet on the apron and stuff, and he did a match on sort of pre-tape before an NXT taping. So I know that he has some very, very, very minimal experience. Logan Paul, it keeps going from strength to strength. The fact that he's wrestling more frequently on WWE programming has helped him and not cause too many botches in his matches. On this occasion, I'm gonna give it. It's going to be the opening match of the weekend. You know, everybody's going to be doing the Yee. I'm sorry how awful that looks. I look like Michael Cole doing it, but I'm going to give it to the Usos and LA Knight. They lost the titles a couple of weeks back and they need to bounce back a little bit, so I think they're going to give it this one. Plus LA Knight needs a big win to sort of help push him back up the card a little bit and potentially into that world title picture. The second match, also, which will be free for our American viewers on the ESPN app, it's going to be the unsanctioned match, Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. And these two have really, really helped step this feud up. I'm a firm believer that Drew should have definitely been in the WWE Championship main event, and so with this, it kind of feels like a consolation prize for Drew. He needs to be on the card. The guy is a main eventer, and he's done nothing but great work over the last couple of years now with WWE. Jacob, I think, is going to take this one. This is all stemming from a storyline that they had running back in November time, around about, where Drew McIntyre is allegedly supposed to have attacked Jacob backstage and put him out of action for a number of months, and then since Drew became champion, Jacob has been the person that helped him win the championship in a blind fit of rage in the cage match in Germany versus Cody Rhodes. He has cost Drew opportunities in matches to keep the championship. So Cody beat him for the title again a few weeks ago to set up our main event for this evening. the brawls that these guys have had that have gone all over arenas, all up and down North America, the bit that they did at the end of one SmackDown where they both fell off a massive building and you could hear a big crash underneath a glass and stuff. These two want to destroy each other. Give them 20 minutes, give them half an hour of just battering each other. On this occasion, however, and I kind of feel sad that I'm saying this as a fellow Brit, but I'm going to give this one to Jacob Fatu. Get his redemption, get him out of this story with Drew, move on into new wrestling season, as it were. The Women's Tag Team Championships are on the line in a fatal four-way match. You have Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, the champions, the Irresistible Forces in Nia Jax and Lash Legend, and the WWE Hall of Famers, the Bella Twins. Now, this one, it's probably been the best use of the women's tag division probably since it became a thing. That all the people in this match have had a shine on them, save for Nikki and Brie, but we'll talk about that in a moment. This is going to be a really interesting one and a really good way for all of the women to show off what they can do on this card. The overarching stories that have sort of interweaved between one another, just let's go team by team. With Charlotte and Alexa, you have this innate feeling that one is going to turn on the other. They are friends out of convenience, to take a phrase from themselves. The other thing that you've also got to take into account is that you can never trust a Flair. So if the tag team is going to be moving forward and going to be continuing together, then they need to stop with those teasers, as we've had each of them eliminate each other in some form or manner in, say, the Royal Rumble, or in the Elimination Chamber where Charlotte didn't get into it but Alexa did, and there's some animosity there. We're not 100% sure what's going on, but with that seems to me that's going to rule them out of winning titles together. We've got the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Lash Legend has been on a tear since coming up to the main roster from NXT. I think that having Nia as a sort of stable person on the roster for her to sort of latch onto and get those reps in, get that time in, get that first belt under her belt, no pun intended. But I don't see them being long-standing champions. There's so much talent in the women's tag division, and unfortunately, this might be a way for Lash to help sort of cut Nia out and move on to being a singles competitor herself and being a viable challenger for some of these women's championships that they've introduced, like the US, the Intercontinental. Heck, give her enough time. I think she's definitely a viable competitor for the World Championship. So I don't think it's going to be Lash Legend and Nia Jax, unfortunately. The next team in this has had something of a stop-start storyline ever since last year's WrestleMania. So if you guys will remember, last year at WrestleMania, Lyra Valkyria was also challenging for the Women's Tag Team Championships, and it was supposed to be with Bayley. But Bayley, for whatever reason, was unable to make it on the card, and so the returning Becky Lynch filled in as a partner, and they became champions. Throughout the rest of the last calendar year, we've had a love-hate relationship between Bayley and Lyra since Bayley returned and tried to take out Becky for the IC Championship. Bayley's also teased a split personality disorder gimmick of sorts, where one moment she's very happy-go-lucky hugging all her friends, and then the next minute she's going psychotic, like the role model gimmick that she's been running over the last few years. Nevertheless, they have put a lot of emphasis on Bayley getting to Mania this year. So I've got a funny feeling that these guys are going to be coming away from the match as the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. The Bellas, however, can't be doubted, but in the same breath over the last few weeks, we haven't seen anything of Nikki or Brie. There was a suggestion that one of the Bellas, I'm not sure which one, was nursing some type of injury that hadn't exactly ruled them out of the match, but hadn't got a clearance for going forward. And so it's very tentative at the minute whether or not we're going to get the Bellas at Mania. I would have said, had they been promoting and been part of the build for this match, that the Bellas were almost a shoe-in to win the titles, to give them that recognition as a women's tag team together, as Hall of Famers, both with Nikki being a former world champion as well, just another feather in the cap to the Bella brand. But I think it's going to be Bayley and Lyra that take the titles. And now we come to a much more haphazardly put together match on this WrestleMania card, admittedly. You've got the ring general, the career killer, the man that has defeated Goldberg, John Cena and AJ Styles in the last calendar year to end all three of these men's careers, versus the architect of the Shield, the creator of the Vision, and a man that we've only just seen return in Seth freaking Rollins. For background, both of these men, from what independent news sources have claimed, were supposed to have different matches over WrestleMania weekend. Seth Rollins was originally supposed to be in that World Championship picture and against a potential world champion in Bron Breakker. Or at least finishing the feud that was begun late last year when the Vision turned on Seth Rollins before he was injured. Unfortunately, with Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed being out with injuries, we won't be seeing either of those men on the card, unfortunately. However, there is some tentative rumours of Mr. Breakker being medically cleared, but it's just too close to the date. I think they're trying to make the best out of a bad situation with this match, and they're two big stars that you couldn't leave off the card for WrestleMania. So, in my opinion, with this match, Seth Rollins has an inbuilt storyline with Paul Heyman and the Vision that he still needs to complete. Gunther, on the other hand, has been brought in as something of a hired mercenary. Now, Gunther, according to news sources, was supposed to have another career killer match this year at WrestleMania against Rey Mysterio. However, Rey Mysterio did sustain an injury in which wouldn't have necessarily originally allowed him to finish up WrestleMania. So, instead, what we've got is half of a retirement storyline, half of a feud. We're going to put them together in a match. They did give some context as to why Gunther attacked Seth Rollins this past week on Monday Night Raw when they came face to face and they had their little one-on-one promo segment. Rollins claims that he's taking out Gunther so he can get to Paul Heyman and kill the Vision that he created. Gunther says, whilst he is taking direction from Mr. Heyman, says that had Heyman not bothered, he still would have gone for Seth, because Seth claims himself to be the best professional wrestler on the planet, and Gunther wholeheartedly disagrees, which has given this feud a bit more life. I have no doubt that these gentlemen will be more than capable of putting on a banger of a match. In spite of that, however, as far as a clear-cut winner is concerned in this, it's Seth's first match back since his injury. However, Gunther has been on this unstoppable tear in the last 12 months that I don't think is going to slow down anytime soon. Not considering where he may be at come August time. In my opinion, in this match, I'm going to give it to Gunther. I think he's going to take out Seth, fulfill his promise to Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman will owe Gunther a favour coming out of this match. That's something to bear in mind. And now you have the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. This is Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee, the champion. AJ has come back after a over 10-year absence. She has got 3 victories over Becky using a Black Widow submission. However, all 3 of those wins came with the referee Jessica Carr being at the centre of them. Becky has been one of the shining lights of the women's division over the last year, holding that Intercontinental Championship and really elevating its position on the card. So much so I feel like that this has had a better build towards it than even the Women's World Championship matches over the weekend. This is a clear one for me. Becky's going to take the championship. AJ Lee's not going to be working a full-time schedule, so she's had the big hometown welcome back singles victory in Chicago and won the championship. I think they're going to give it to Becky because Becky has some very, very capable competitors that are going to be coming after her after WrestleMania for that championship. The Women's World Championship is on the line as champion Stephanie Vaquer, La Primera, on the run of her career in her third rookie year of wrestling for WWE, takes on the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan has unbelievable star potential. She has taken the world by storm with her online antics, with her characteristics that she's been able to show when she's been out in front of cameras. She makes you want to hate her, but she's also kind of hot too. She's just released this week a music video. She's trying to be a pop star too, with Trouble releasing on WWE's YouTube channel, and that is very much going to be a big point of what my pick is in relation to this match. I can see that going into this match, the feud that they've had, and it's to boil it down to as simply as it can be put, is your mother is a B1TCH has been the primary thing in this feud. Stephanie Vaquer, on the other hand, has had a massive first year on the main roster and going into a first WrestleMania as WWE Women's World Champion. However, there's not been a steady line of challenges for that championship since she beat Io Sky for it. The matches that she had against Raquel Rodriguez were fantastic, and she was able to show that she could do not just the high-flying lucha style, but the ground and pound and the more hardcore style as well. This is been a tough decision, but because of the very fact of Liv Morgan has got this big promotional machine behind her, there's rumours that she's going to be in movies later this year. That's part of the reason she took some time off. That she's going to be a major marketing figure for WWE going forward. This is why it just makes sense to me that Liv Morgan will be walking out a Saturday night at WrestleMania as the Women's World Champion again. And now to probably the most contentious WrestleMania main event that there has been in recent memory. We have the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes defending against Randy Orton, who will be accompanied by Pat McAfee. Now, if you would have said to me 3 weeks ago that the main event of the first night of WrestleMania was going to surround former NFL football player Pat McAfee, I would have told you you're absolutely insane. That's not going to happen. Yet here we are. This feels very much like a retread of last year's WrestleMania main event in the Cena Cody match, where they had Travis Scott be a prolific part of the match and the decision in that match. I get it, because Ari Emanuel's client is Pat McAfee, and he believes that Pat McAfee has that crossover appeal as a potential movie star and a big celebrity figure now that he's firmly under the WWE banner. However, that shouldn't be what your Mania main event's about. It should be about the two best wrestlers fighting for the biggest prize. And with this match in particular, you have that, plus nearly 20 years of backstory to tell. Randy Orton brought Cody Rhodes in 2008, I believe, with Legacy, along with Ted DiBiase. He brought him in as his protege. We've got the fact that over the last year, every time that Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes have interacted, that he's looked at that WWE Championship and thought to himself, I want number 15. I want to make it to World Championship number 15. Cody, on the other hand, has gone from being the WWE champion at the start of the year, losing the championship to Drew McIntyre in Germany, entering and failing to win the Royal Rumble, entering and failing to win the Elimination Chamber, but somehow still getting a championship match against Drew McIntyre the week after Elimination Chamber to set up this match with him and Randy. Randy, I think, in this match is going to be the winner for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can never really put it down to WWE to not let Cody chase the belt. Cody is far more interesting as a babyface when he is chasing the championship than when he is a champion. He's had the year-long reign that he had from Mania 40 to 41 against Cena. He's now on his third WWE championship reign in the last 2 years. That, it says to me that they're building Cody's number of reigns, and for him to get that up, he has to let go of it. In the same breath, Randy Orton is the closest person to beating John Cena's record-setting 17 World Championship reigns. This match will put him at number 15, meaning he would only have to win 2 more to equal John Cena, 3 to surpass him. That says to me that I think they're going to give the belt to Randy, even if this is potentially his last World Championship reign. He deserves it for the work that he's been putting in with his character, with the promo segments that he's been putting forward, talking about the fact he's letting the voices speak to him now. But the voice over the phone being Pat McAfee is a very sad way to try and shoehorn a celebrity into this match. And the other side of that is that after one segment on screen, we have to believe that Cody Rhodes and American pop musician Jelly Roll are best friends. Possibly we're going to see Jelly Roll be in the corner of Cody Rhodes to ward off Pat McAfee. And not only that, but if Randy Orton doesn't win the WWE Championship, according to Pat McAfee, he will be finished with the wrestling industry, which I don't believe for 1 second. So for me, that's going to be the big defining moment of the first night, is Randy Orton holding the WWE Championship aloft while Pat McAfee celebrates as if he's the one that won the belt himself. Unfortunately, it's going to be a bad ending to night one, but that just means that we've got something to look forward to with the opening of WrestleMania Night 2 on Sunday. Now, again, for everyone that's watching in America on the ESPN app, you will be able to watch the first hour of WrestleMania for free, including this match, this very match here. Give me this. Give me 20 minutes of this match. Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. There's no stipulation. There's no championship. These are 2 big men that are just gonna scrap. The way that they've built to this match has been contentious for some fans that aren't familiar with Obafemi's work in NXT. For anybody that has, however, seen that, you can, I believe you can agree with me when I say that this is the way that you put Femi way up to the top of the card, is with a decisive win over Brock Lesnar. Lesnar is supposedly coming to the end of his deal and is looking to retire from the WWE, potentially as soon as this year at SummerSlam, as that is going to be held in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which means that at least Brock will be able to finish up in his hometown with his fans and his friends and his family all there for him. Going into that, however, I think we need to set something up where Brock looks beatable, and that can only be done by having somebody beat Brock. So with the last couple of weeks, we've seen Obafemi powerbomb Brock Lesnar and put his foot on his chest. We've seen him take Brock Lesnar out of the ring after being sneak attacked by Brock. We have seen Femi get the better of him on so many occasions, and when you look at how Paul Heyman is running these promos, he looks rattled. He knows that there is a very, 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 very good chance that his beast may be slain on Sunday. For me, this is the era of the ruler. Give us Obafemi. And after seeing two massive behemoths come together, we're then going to get 6 of Raw's premium athletes in a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm going to quickly go through these guys. You've got JD McDonough, you've got Dragon Lee, you've got Penta, the champion, you've got Javon Evans, the Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, Rey Mysterio, and you've got Rusev. This is going to be one of those matches that you're not going to want to go for your toilet break or go to the concession stand. This is one of those going to be the highlight of the night, especially with the difference in sort of weight classes that you've got, the diversity of the performers that you have. There's 2 ways I see this match going, and unfortunately neither of them involve Penta leaving this match with the championship, but there's a very good reason for that, because I think Penta is at that point now where you could move him to that upper card, so the main event scene, as a believable threat for a world championship, or even putting him at the top, being the guy to beat Dom Mysterio yet again, but this time over the fence in AAA for the world championship over there. The way I see this match going is one of 2 ways. Number 1, you have Dragon Lee pick up the IC Championship. He's been heavily featured on programming ever since AJ Styles' retirement, and the tag title run that they had him and Styles go on, I feel was a way to give that sort of rub to the next guy, including the fact that he's using the AJ Styles Clash as a finisher now going forward. He's the only man doing that move, and the fact he's really, really consistent in the ring. I don't think I've ever watched a bad Dragon Lee match. The only thing they haven't given him is time to develop his character. The other way that we can go with this is we could set a record in that you could potentially have the youngest Intercontinental Champion in history if Javon Evans was to win the Intercontinental Championship. Now, he's definitely connected with the audience. There are people that are doing the chant, that boy is bouncy. We can't deny it. I think he's got the potential to be that guy in the division, to be that fighting champion. He's out there every week. He's doing those amazing acrobatics and things that you've never seen before. He is what they want to build towards the future, and what is currently here now can always be moved up. To the rest of the guys in the match, I think they're all going to have some great showings, and there's going to be some amazing spots, but it's between those 2. If I have to nail one down now, I'm going to say that they're going to give the belt to Javon. He's in line. You've got a record that you could put down on this year's WrestleMania. You crowned the youngest Intercontinental Champion in history. I think it'll be a good showing. From the Intercontinental Championship to the United States Championship, we've got Sami Zayn, the champion, versus Trick Williams. And there's no question in my mind, this is Trick Williams' time to be US champion. He has come in like a house on fire on SmackDown since coming up at the end of last year, beginning of this year. Great showings in both the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber match. He's been consistent. He is connected with the audience. An audience in which has begun to turn favour away from Sami Zayn in the way that he's been booked. And they've done what they can as a company to pivot away from this. They don't want one of the main champions being booed, especially when he's supposed to be a good guy. But I think the fact that they dumped Carmelo Hayes' great in the US Championship Open Challenge Series for the sake of having Sami Zayn as a transitional champion just doesn't sit right with me. You didn't have to have Sami in this match. You could have had this as a triple threat if you did need to squeeze him in. But I think this is going to be a very short United States Championship reign for Sami. It's going to be time for Trick. It's Trick Williams as will be walking out as US champion come Sunday night. For the WWE Women's Championship, the champion Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, in my opinion, is probably one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet, male or female. She's been able to pull out some of the best performances from the people that she's worked with, from the feuds that she's had with people like Liv Morgan. She is up there. She is that main event talent already. Jade's experiment as WWE Women's Champion, however, I feel has been a categorical failure. Over 100 days without a championship defense. It feels inexcusable to me that a champion isn't defending their belt. She's not my favourite in the ring. She's got some a good little move set, and she's a really good promo. But I think the Jade Cargill experiment has definitely failed. And when you have to take the two main people that have been antagonists for Jade and turn them around to align with her, you've run out of ideas for your champion to make her a threat. This should have just been a clear one-on-one match and may the best woman win. Now it's become a faction versus a singular person, and the underdog is going to overcome the odds, even though that underdog in this situation is Rhea Ripley. For me, Rhea Ripley is walking out with the WWE Women's Championship over her shoulder out of WrestleMania. The Judgment Day has imploded, and now we get to see what we saw glimpses of at WrestleMania last year during that 4-way Intercontinental Championship match. We're going to have the AAA Mega Campeon Dirty Dominic Mysterio against the Demon Finn Balor. With Finn returning as the Demon, this means this match is only going one way, and that I'm putting my hat firmly in the Demon camp. Had they left this as a surprise for Mania, they just marketed as Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor, and then the Demon appeared at WrestleMania, I'd have probably leaned on Dominic Mysterio's side. He has been a joy to watch, and is the best heel that WWE have in its roster right now. He has become that next step up, that next caliber of wrestler in this last couple of years, where he's been able to stand as a singles wrestler and be a heel, and now leading the Judgment Day, the group originally that were trying to indoctrinate him, he's now the leader of. With everything that's concerning Dom, I don't think a loss is going to hurt him here. He is still mega over in AAA as the mega champion, and will most likely be building towards that match next. So a match here against Finn Balor, a loss here against Finn Balor's Demon, it's nothing to be ashamed of, but I imagine that this is probably going to be one of those show stealers for the weekend, so keep your eyes on this one. And in the main event, the World Heavyweight Championship is decided. On one side of the ring, a middle-aged man in the final run of his career, holding the championship in a position that he always felt he deserved, versus a man that this year has won the 2026 Royal Rumble match. This is a match that we never ever thought we would see, and now we're getting it. I am a fan of the vintage from over 20 years. I remember the day that CM Punk walked out of WWE. I remember the Art of Wrestling podcast with Colt Cabana. I remember you gotta make Roman look really strong. I remember the boos that surrounded Roman Reigns for years, because he was the Machine's choice as your hero, as your number one good guy. And had Punk never said that about Roman, we probably would have let it happen. Because of that one little phrase, make Roman look really strong, we turned our back on our tribal chief before he was our tribal chief. And it took Roman becoming the tribal chief for us to fully appreciate the caliber of performer that he is. Is he the best in-ring wrestler? No, not by a long shot. But is he the best character that WWE's had in the last decade? 100% yes. Punk, on the flip side of things, has been on a good run as world champion since the end of last year when he beat Jey Uso for the vacant world championship. He's had fantastic matches with people like Bron Breakker, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, just to name a few. Now he faces his biggest challenge as champion. This is the biggest marquee match that you could have. These are the two top names on the WWE roster, and they're going to decide the World Championship. But there is a lot of inbuilt hatred, animosity, and very, very real sense that these men don't like each other. They both starred in Zootropolis together as the Z-Bros. And if you remember Survivor Series when they touched fists, they said that. Punk's promos have been brilliant. Reigns has felt very much like the guy that he can't get Punk out of his head, and Punk has played him like a fiddle. Even though Punk is supposed to be your babyface, people are cheering Reigns. In my opinion, the World Heavyweight Championship is staying on the shoulder of Charles Montgomery Punk, and I tell you for why. Our biggest complaint about WWE during Roman's 1,316-day reign is that he wasn't defending the belt, that he wasn't there enough. Yes, it's been 2 years, but I don't believe that Roman's going to be having more matches this year than he normally would. So why would you put that championship on his shoulder? It doesn't make any sense to me. For me, Punk walks out of his main event of WrestleMania as WWE World Heavyweight Champion and is able to then carry forward into the new wrestling season starting from Monday and have a whole crop of talent that he gets to work with and a new champion be decided from there. I don't see Punk losing this. I think he's in Reigns' head too much, and I think that we're going to see Reigns lose his cool, not get disqualified or counted out, but enough that it'll cost him his opportunity. And that's going to do it for our predictions, guys. This has been something that we've wanted to do for a little while, and it's something that we're just trying out here on the channel. So if you like this video, please make sure that you leave a comment down below. Make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you are a fan of what we're doing with all the content that we're putting out here on the YouTube channel, you can also join us over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Mason Fenrir TTV, where we do live streams, reactions, which we will also be doing this Saturday and Sunday on Twitch. We also play a lot of video games, have our own series that is releasing here on the YouTube channel periodically, and more up-to-date episodes are available on the Twitch. But for now, guys, that's going to be me. Thank you ever so much, and we will see you in Las Vegas.